It's fair to say most stealth games nowadays aren't built precisely around the act of infiltrating, killing, and evading undetected, but instead include stealth as a viable option to navigate. For this reason, there's a broader spectrum of game genres on this rundown than we featured on previous stealth lists. There is a common thread though. Each game on this rundown, when played stealthily, requires incisive, careful, considered approaches. A demand to utilize tools and techniques to complete objectives undetected. For stealth fans, there's no bigger reward than that. Assassin's Creed Unity. Most games these days include mechanics to facilitate stealth, but oftentimes enemy AI is poorly implemented that you risk being detected no matter how hidden you are. Assassin's Creed Unity isn't perfect, but it's arguably last gen's best stealth experience due to thoughtful level design and enemy placement. They're the token tools to distract guards, of course, but Unity has a surprising depth to character movesets. Understanding distinct animation length and noise emitted in low or high profile moves is key, as is, perhaps counterintuitively, mastering non-lethal takedowns. Shadows of Doubt. First-person detective sim Shadows of Doubt is only recently released, but it's already garnered a reputation for its stealthy options for cracking murder cases. In fact, operating sneakily in these procedurally generated cities is where the most fun is had. Picking locks, infiltrating office blocks and apartment complexes, surreptitiously reading emails, evading detection, remaining covert. You can play the brutal bribing cop if you like, but with such a wealth of stealth options, why would you? Issues arise in detection, not impacting your ability to sneak back to the same local moments later, but regardless, Shadows of Doubt offers a lot in terms of stealth. 63 Days. A top-down RTS reminiscent of Commandos, in 63 Days, you control a band of Polish resistance fighters who are working together to eradicate an occupying German army. The game's levels are sprawling affairs with plenty of opportunities for cover, to distract from the shadows, and to silently eliminate unsuspecting soldiers. Stealth mechanics are heightened by each character's special skills too, covert, long-range weaponry, or the ability to don enemy uniforms to walk amongst patrols undetected, for instance. All in all, 63 Days harkens back to the golden days of top-down stealth, and is a welcome addition to what has become a niche genre. Sumerian VI. Okay, we just said it's a niche genre, but 2024 has brought another top-down real-time tactical stealth game in the form of Sumerian VI, a quirky, scientifically absurd puzzler. Set during World War II, Sumerian VI follows a band of rogue scientists as they conduct secret missions against a supernaturally charged Third Reich. Like 63 Days, each character in Sumerian VI harbors special skills, each madcap ability inspired by the scientist's individual areas of expertise. There's satisfaction to be had in chaining these abilities together as well. With tons of stealthy, strategic underlined by an intriguing story, Sumerian VI is an easy recommendation. Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Despite there being moments Lara clearly needs to use her gun, stealth in Shadow of the Tomb Raider is a viable option to complete the game. And whilst there aren't a whole host of tools and gadgets at Lara's disposal, lurking in the shadows, hiding in bushes, sneaking past numerous enemies, performing silent kills, the stealth mechanics in Shadow were surprisingly well done. Watch Dogs Legion. Watch Dogs developers tend to approach stealth more casually than some of their dedicated espionage offerings, like Splinter Cell of course, and the end product varies in quality. With Watch Dogs, this casual approach to sneaking around is actually rather fun though, if somewhat easy, with the stealth in Watch Dogs Legion the best of the entire series. Here you can cloak hide corpses or don invisibility cloaks yourself. Should you be detected, the enemy AI will remain on high alert whilst remembering your past locations, so there's none of that returning to the same locale a minute later to no effect like we've described in Shadows of Doubt. Batman Arkham City.
He's making us look stupid. How's he doing it?
Leave him. We've got more important things to be looking out for.
Keep the smoke. Huh?
This can be as easy or as painful as you like.
Don't hurt me. I'll tell you everything.
I knew you would.
The Caped Crusader is at his most effective when lurking in the shadows, and the darkness itself, with Arkham City, the second in Rocksteady's story trilogy, giving players the most compelling tools and techniques to distract and take down a host of goons in increasingly satisfying ways. Smoke bombs, explosive gel, batarangs, grapple hooks, there's just plenty here to wield from a variety of hiding places, vents, ledges, rafters, and the like. There's tactical depth in Batman's takedowns here too. Some are silent, perfect for when gangs are patrolling, whilst the more brutal takedowns make noise, so it's often opportune to try and split groups up with noise before covertly picking them off. Little Nightmares. For what it lacks in mechanical depth, Little Nightmares makes up for it in childlike anxiety, and whilst it might not immediately spring to mind if you were asked to list the best stealth games, its very purpose, to command a child in evading the eyes of grown-up monstrosities, is pure stealth, pure and simple. The yellow-coated 6 has no combat ability, so she must stay out of sight at all costs. Your approach as the player is one of shuffling patience, of observation and dread-inducing tiptoeing. Saria. In Saria, you stalk through 1500s Antwerp on a covert mission to halt the notorious Spanish Fury massacre of the 80 Years' War. All the stealth game staples are at your disposal here. Smoke bombs to cloud enemy soldiers, and throwable debris to distract their gaze, tall grass, shadows, and crates to hide within or behind. The ability to tread and roll in pin drop silence. Every element in Saria coalesces superbly, representing a remarkable achievement for the team of Breda University students behind its development. Prey. Whilst not a dedicated stealth game, there are enough mechanics in Arcane Studios' Prey to sneak through the Talos 1 space station unnoticed. Silent kills are nigh on impossible, but there's ample possibility to eliminate the Typhon undetected, as confirmed by the on-screen detection meter. And that's the thing with Prey, you need to adhere to its rules to achieve a perfect stealth run. So in addition to observing on-screen detection meters, there are techniques for swiftly observing from cover without being spotted, targeting scopes to tag enemies, and objects that can be used to lure or distract. If you want to play stealthily, the choice is there with some imagination. Dishonored. Much like Prey, Arcane opted for a game in Dishonored where stealth is a viable option thanks to its tools and techniques at your disposal, whilst not being an experience built overall around covertness. You're a superpowered assassin with abilities to traverse and manipulate the world around you, but patience is the virtue here. Almost every encounter can be mapped through careful consideration before any action is triggered. Add to that the scale and verticality of the game's environments, and you've got one of the most rewarding stealth systems in any game that isn't objectively stealth. Intravenous 2. Compared a little too closely to Hotline Miami given its top-down perspective and hardcore gunplay, Intravenous and its 2023 sequel Intravenous 2 require a much more considered approach to killing akin to Splinter Cell or Thief. Shadows are your friend if you choose them to be. They can be sneaked through and lights can be tampered with. The first Intravenous was great, but its sequel adds player agency on how to complete missions with stealth options being integral. Darkness is still an ally, sure, but you can also opt to complete missions in daylight, eschewing the safety of the shadows. Different surfaces emit different contact volumes, so planning your route based on sound becomes just as important as observing luminance. Hitman World of Assassination. You'll likely know by now the rewarding nature of downing each mark as Wonder Assassin Agent 47 in the Hitman series, but the World of Assassination Compendium, compiling the best of Hitman's 2016 reboot through its sequel and Hitman 3, showcase an evolution of the series in terms of level design, choice-driven gameplay, and replayability. Each entry has merit, but resisting bombast for invisibility in the crowds whilst eliminating nefariously world leaders without anybody knowing you are there is a consistent reward across the trilogy. Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots. Deciding which Metal Gear Solid has the best stealth is sort of a fool's errand. I mean, come on. You could opt for MGS3 Snake Eater's camo system, the mastery of MGS2's enemy cone vision, or Ground Zero's exceptional topographical playground. However, Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots gets the nod here because of its depth. Sound as well as light is a principal consideration, of course, but unusually so is wind direction. Different enemies attuned to different senses, so your approach needs adapting. All in all, MGS4 arguably has the most challenging and thus the most rewarding stealth of the series. Splinter Cell Conviction. An exercise in minimalism that isn't like any other Splinter Cell game out there. In Conviction, Sam Fisher is relieved of his trusty gadgets, and the action is more fast-paced than his prior requirement for measured patience. Instead, you, the player, must rely on instincts to get the drop on your foes. Switching the screen to monochrome, for instance, is the perfect substitute for the lack of dark light meter. That, and the last known position mechanic, which, when your instincts abandon you, is a genius inclusion which highlights where enemies believe that you are. It's a system seldom seen in stealth games, but it fits Conviction's distinct brand of action perfectly. So, what are your thoughts on this? Go ahead and share them in the comments below. And if you like this video, please subscribe to the channel and enable all notifications by clicking the bell icon to get new video updates. We upload every day and would really appreciate your support. Thanks for watching.